This is the Thoughtful Type on Good Friday, the 2nd of April 2021. My name is the polarizing Meshach R. Brencher. As I'm recording this, it's World Autism Day, so this episode focuses on interesting things to do with autism. The word autism comes from the Latin word autismus, broken down into two parts. Auto translates as self, and ismus is ism, and an ism is an action or state of quality, what kind a thing something appears to be or present itself. In a generalized way, autism translates as the isolated self. The term was first used in 1908 by Swiss psychiatrist Eugene Bleuler to describe patients who were entirely withdrawn and completely self-absorbed. It was first officially recognized as a diagnosis in 1980. Paving the way for this was the first diagnosis in 1943 by Austrian, Ukrainian and American psychiatrist Leo Kanner, who described children who were socially isolated and withdrawn. In 1944, Hans Asperger, who was an Austrian pediatrician, he observed children with social and communication difficulties but had regular intelligence and language development of regular developing children. So he defined the children who had social and communication difficulties under his original term, autistic personality disorder. Around the time of his death in 1980, his work became widely known, but it wasn't until 1981 when Lorna Wing, a British psychiatrist, brought forward his findings to English professionals and helped to design and set out the Asperger syndrome criteria. And in 1992, it became a standardized test. And in 1994, it was added to the DSM mental disorder list, or the Diagnostic of Statistical Manuals mental health disorder list. As well as autism being first officially recognized in 1980, it also marked the first time it was officially diagnosed separately as a condition from childhood schizophrenia. Autism and childhood schizophrenia I will talk about in a future episode to distinguish one from the other. But alongside autism and Asperger syndrome, other prevailing conditions included pervasive development disorder, which represented extreme delays in development and communication skills. There was Rett syndrome, which is a genetic disorder which affected brain development, causing severe mental and physical disability, affecting 1 in every 12,000 girls born each year. Childhood disintegrative disorder, which is mainly characterized as digression in functional abilities developed over time by a child. Basically, they lose all their ability to do what they naturally developed from being younger, to the point where they have to start again with the process of developing themselves from square one. It's a very scary condition to have. A condition which is proposed as a subtype disorder on the autism spectrum is pathological demand avoidance, which is mainly characterized as extreme refusal to do what is asked of the person, even if the activity is normal to the person's day-to-day life. And there is also atypical autism, which is a higher functioning group. It often resembles Asperger syndrome, but it's mainly characterized as a transient language delay and a mild cognitive impairment. And they display other characteristics which make it very complicated for them to be described as meeting the criteria as a regular person who is diagnosed with autism. In 2013, all autistic conditions were merged under one single diagnosis, the autism spectrum disorder, mainly characterizing impaired social communication and interaction alongside restricted and repetitive behaviors, under the publication set by the DSM of mental disorders. Each person now with autism, whether higher functioning or low functioning, can be assessed on the level of support that they require. And there are 3 levels to assess what level of support somebody requires. People who are level 1 are typically more independent, but they struggle with back and forth interactions going from one thing to another because of the inflexibility of their organization and planning skills. Someone on level 2 generally displays more substantial, impactful complications to someone on level 1, but they find it even more extremely hard to change focus and have more extreme interests and narrow, repetitive behaviors. And level 3 typically demonstrates someone with very substantial, aggressive form of autism, and they will generally be found to be receiving care and support. In general, it's disproportionately more recognizable for males to have autism, but it suggests 42% of girls who actually have autism are often misdiagnosed as having other conditions. Generally, girls are thought of as demonstrating the ability to mask their expressions more exceptionally well and can apply skills at a more adaptable rate, whereas boys generally excel more following order and systematic processes. But this over time has hindered more findings of females to have autism, but over time it will surely open out more that it's more prevalent in females as more studies will continue into the future. In the last few years, it's estimated 62 out of every 10,000th person has autism, and broken down, in the UK, it's 1 in every 100th child, and approximately 1% of the overall population of UK households in England. According to the year 2019, in the first 9 months, there were 17,970 new referrals. In the USA, it's 1 in every 54th child. There's no approximate number for adults, but percentage-wise, it's 2.21%. Elsewhere in Stockholm, Sweden, it's approximately 11.5 out of every 1,000th person with autism. In South Korea, it's 2.64% of the overall population, and of that 2.64%, 2/3 of children have attended mainstream education. And South Korea ranks number 3 when put into a chart of every 10,000th child that's tested worldwide. Out of 10,000 children, South Korea can account for 263 each time. The USA comes in second place with 222 children each 10,000th measured, and Hong Kong is number 1 with 372 each 10,000th children tested. Interestingly, in Europe, Ireland has the highest ranking prevalence of children with autism. It states 153 children each 10,000th is commonly tested. The puzzle jigsaw piece symbol, commonly associated with autism, first came from Gerard Gasson in 1963, a parent and board member of the National Autistic Society, which formerly went by the name the Society for Autistic Children, founded in London. The board believed autistic people suffered from a puzzling condition, and over time, autistic people felt a sheer dislike for the symbol. So eventually, it was revised over time, the symbolic reference visually, and it became a puzzle ribbon, which was adopted in 1999. And this became the universal sign to reflect the diversity of people and families living with a condition with different colours and shapes. It's quite a lot of stuff covered there, but that's a general overview of autism, and it's going to keep expanding going forward. If you have listened to this, thank you for taking time out of your day. And I'll be with you for a future episode. But until then, take care. I'll see you soon.